offshore oil.
On tonight's edition of Mississippi Magazine, we'll look at offshore oil in the Gulf of Mexico. Oil was first discovered in the Gulf of Mexico in the 1930s. Since then, more oil has been found off the coasts of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. More money is being brought into the state of Mississippi from offshore drilling leases. We aren't going to become very rich, but we must decide how to spend the revenue from oil. We took our TV cameras into the streets to ask people their opinion. Our question was, if you were the governor of Mississippi, what would you do with the money?
Well, of course I'm not the governor, but if I were, I'd spend the money on more hospitals and schools. We need more doctors, nurses, and teachers. We don't have enough good teachers. If salaries were higher, we could keep better teachers. And there aren't enough doctors and nurses either because the medical schools are too small. If they were bigger, we would have more doctors and nurses. Money that is spent now on education and health is an investment for the future.
I think the answer is simple. Taxes are too high in this country. I would reduce state taxes. If we reduced taxes, people would have more money. If they had more money, they'd spend more. Industry would have to produce more, so it would need more workers. There would be more jobs, and we would all be richer.
I'm very worried about the economy. There aren't enough jobs for everyone, and people with jobs aren't making enough money. If I were governor, I'd help low-income families pay their heating and electric bills. I'd encourage farmers to produce more food more cheaply. I'd bring more industry into the state. If we did that, everybody would benefit, wouldn't they? There's one thing that makes me happy. I'm glad the money stays in Mississippi. The federal government would spend it on more tanks and bombs.
There's too much crime and violence nowadays. There aren't enough police officers on the streets. I'd give cities money to increase the size of their police forces, and I'd raise their salaries. If we had more police officers, we'd all feel safer. And I'd increase the benefits for senior citizens. I've worked hard all my life, and I should have a reasonable standard of living.
Far Trek.
These are the voyages of the Starship Interface, its 50-year mission, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Nothing's happened for years. I'm bored.
Captain Kurt, there's a planet on the screen. Look!
What's that, Mr. Pseudo? It looks like a Krinklon spaceship. The planet will be destroyed. The Krinklons destroy everything. They must be stopped. What are we going to do, Mr. Schlock?
You know Starfleet regulations, Captain. We can observe, but we cannot interfere. Nothing can be done.
Pictures from the planet's surface are being received now, Captain. The Krinklons are preparing an attack, Captain.
Well, something has to be done. We're going down there. Schlock, Uhulu, come with me.
You shouldn't go, Captain. You might be killed.
But where are the people? This doesn't look like the same place.
At last, Captain Kurt, I have tricked you. I cannot be beaten. You and all your crew will be killed.
I will fight you, but let my crew go. Where did the Krinklon go? What happened?
Nothing happened, Captain. You were bored. You needed to be entertained. We turned on the artificial reality machine. It was all a dream.
Reports.
Lynn Willis is a new reporter for the Los Angeles Daily Echo. Last week, several famous people arrived at L.A. International Airport, and Lynn was sent to interview them. Nobody told her very much. Cristina del Castillo,
Secretary General of the United Nations.
I'm very busy. I have a lot of appointments. I can't say very much. I'm happy to be in Los Angeles. I enjoyed my visit in January. I'll be here for only 12 hours. I'm going to meet the governor. I have no other comments.
Lynn's report.
Cristina del Castillo visited California yesterday. She arrived at 10 a.m., and we asked her to comment on the international situation. She just made a brief statement. She said that she was very busy and that she had a lot of appointments. She said she couldn't say very much, but she said that she was happy to be here and that she had enjoyed her visit in January. She said she would be here for only 12 hours and that she was going to meet the governor. She said she had no other comments.
Ivan Neistat,
European movie director.
I like newspaper reporters, but I don't have time to say much. Just that I'm working at Global Studios in Hollywood. I haven't worked in Hollywood before. I've heard bad things about Hollywood movies in the past, but I can work with the people at Global. It's the best studio in the world, and I'm the greatest director in the world. My new movie will cost $80 million.
Lynn's report.
Academy Award winner Ivan Neistat arrived in L.A. yesterday. Ivan was in a hurry. He said he liked newspaper reporters, but that he didn't have time to say much. He said that he was working at Global Studios in Hollywood. Ivan said that he hadn't worked in Hollywood before, and that he had heard bad things about Hollywood movies in the past. He said that he could work with the people at Global. He said that it was the best studio in the world, and that he was the greatest director. He also said that his new movie would cost $80 million.
Oral exams.
Hey, Martha, have you finished the exam?
Yes, I have. Whew.
Was it hard?
Well, yes, it was pretty hard.
Did you pass?
I don't know. Miss Nadler didn't tell me.
What questions did she ask?
First, she asked me what my name was.
That was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yes, except I couldn't remember. Then she asked me where I came from and how long I'd been studying here at the Institute.
And what else did she ask?
She asked when I had begun taking English, and she asked how I would use English in the future.
Yes, go on.
Then she asked me if I liked the Institute and if I lived with my parents.
Anything else?
I'm trying to remember, Stefan. Oh, yes, she asked if I spoke any other languages.
Is that all?
Let's see. Well, she asked me what my hobbies were, and she asked me to tell her about them. Then she gave me a picture and asked me to describe it. Then I was asked to read a passage out loud.
What did she say at the end?
Oh, yes, she asked me to tell you to go in, right away.
But you said...
Hello, can I help you?
I'm interested in your St. Cuthbert vacation package.
Oh, yes, the Caribbean. I can recommend it highly.
Can you tell me a little more about it?
Of course. It's a terrific package tour. You'll travel on a regularly scheduled flight. You'll be met at the airport and taken to your hotel. The hotel has a swimming pool and a great nightclub. It's a very modern resort. It was built last year. The restaurant is wonderful, and you can walk to the beach in 2 minutes.
It sounds great. I'd like to make a reservation.
Just a minute, and I'll get the form to fill out.
Marion made the reservation and paid a deposit. 2 months later, she was in St. Cuthbert. But she was disappointed. When she got home to Chicago, she went to see the travel agent.
Hello again. Did you have a good trip?
No, I certainly did not have a good trip.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What was wrong?
Well, when I got to St. Cuthbert, I had to spend 4 hours at the airport. You said we would be met, but we weren't. You also said we would be taken to the hotel. We weren't, and the taxi cost $50.
I see. You had a very bad start. But the hotel was nice, wasn't it?
No, it was not. You said it was modern. You were so right. They hadn't finished building it. We couldn't sleep because the construction workers were working all night on our balcony. You said it had a swimming pool, and it did, but it was empty. And the restaurant, they served canned tuna fish every night. Tuna and rice, tuna salad, tuna and spaghetti.
Oh, no!
You said that the hotel was near the beach. You said we could walk there in 2 minutes.
Couldn't you?
Sure, but there was one problem. There was an oil refinery between the hotel and the beach, and it took half an hour to walk around it.
Oh, no. I'm really sorry. We didn't know. We really can't give you a refund. But we can give you a 10% discount on your next vacation.
Next vacation? I'm spending my next vacation right here in Chicago.
Having things done.
I'm sorry I'm late. I couldn't get the car started this morning.
Winter's almost here. The engine was probably cold.
It needs a complete tune-up. But garages are so expensive nowadays.
Can't you do it yourself?
Who? Me? I don't know anything about cars.
Well, if I were you, I'd have it done soon. The garage that I use is very reasonable. And have the radiator filled with antifreeze. They say it's going to be a cold winter.
Hi. Do you do alterations?
Yes, we do. What do you want done?
I'd like to have this skirt lengthened. It's too short for me.
Fine. It'll take about 2 weeks.
And at the same time, I want to have this dress shortened. It's a little too long.
Okay. Would you mind putting on the skirt first? You can change in there.
Hello. Can I make an appointment to see the optometrist?
Sure. Would next Friday be okay? At 3 o'clock?
Do you have an earlier appointment?
No, I'm sorry. That's the earliest.
Well, that'll be okay then. I want to have my eyes tested. I think I need new glasses. Bye.
Bye. Oh, be careful. That isn't the door. It's a window.
What? Oh, yes, it is a window. Do you see my problem?
Supermarket shock. Picture 1.
Michelle went to the supermarket last Saturday. While she was shopping, she met her neighbor David. David was with his 3-year-old son Joshua.
Picture 2.
While they were talking, Joshua got bored. He began playing with some jars of coffee. He took a jar from the shelf. It was very heavy. He put the jar into Michelle's shopping bag. She didn't notice.
Picture 3.
As Michelle was leaving the supermarket, a store detective stopped her. She took the jar of coffee from Michelle's bag.
Picture 4.
The manager was very angry. There had been a lot of trouble with shoplifters recently.
I'm sorry, but I have to call the police.
Oh, no! It's all a terrible mistake. Now I remember. I was talking to my neighbor. His name's David Samuels. Anyway, his little boy Joshua was with him. You see, Josh was playing with some jars of coffee. He was bored, I guess. David asked him what he was doing. I remember. Then I left them and I did the rest of my shopping. I paid for my groceries and went out into the parking lot. The store detective stopped me there. That's it. Josh put the coffee in my bag. I'm sure that's the answer.
I'm sorry. I really don't believe you.
Michelle, the cashier told me you were in here. I've just been speaking with Josh. He said that he put a jar in your bag.
Who are you?
I'm Michelle's neighbor. Look, I can explain everything.
The appointment.
Once upon a time, there was a rich caliph in Baghdad. He was very famous because he was wise and kind. One morning, he sent his servant Abdul to the market to buy some fruit. As Abdul was walking through the market, he suddenly felt very cold. He knew that somebody was behind him. He turned around and saw a tall man dressed in black. He couldn't see the man's face, only his eyes. The man was staring at him, and Abdul began to shiver. "Who are you? What do you want?" Abdul asked. The man in black didn't reply. "What's your name?" Abdul asked nervously. "I am Death," the stranger replied coldly, and turned away. Abdul dropped his basket and ran all the way back to the caliph's house. He rushed into the caliph's room. "Excuse me, master. I have to leave Baghdad immediately," Abdul said. "But why? What's happened?" the caliph asked. "I just met Death in the market," Abdul replied. "Are you sure?" asked the caliph. "Yes, I'm sure. He was dressed in black, and he stared at me. I'm going to my father's house in Samarra. If I go at once, I'll be there before sunset." The caliph could see that Abdul was terrified, and gave him permission to go to Samarra. The caliph was puzzled. He was fond of Abdul, and he was angry because Abdul had been badly frightened by the stranger in the market. He decided to go to the market and investigate. When he found the man in black, he spoke to him angrily. "Why did you frighten my servant?" "Who is your servant?" the stranger replied. "His name is Abdul," answered the caliph. "I didn't want to frighten him. I was just surprised to see him in Baghdad." "Why were you surprised?" the caliph asked. "I was surprised because I have an appointment with him tonight in Samarra."